Hello, everyone, and welcome to the JK Pottycast. I think this is episode 9, could be 10, who knows? I think we've had 8 episodes, so this is number 9. Anyhow, I'm Jim. Over there is Kai, hence JK, and we have our special guest, as always, Dominique down there. So I'll start off with Dominique because I think he had some great
Who the fuck is
news. You want to
JJ?
share some great personal news?
I'm getting
8 episodes
work.
in, he's already forgetting my
Oh,
name.
yeah. I'm getting some work.
Getting some work done.
Very much.
And you're having to wear multiple hats, from what I understand.
Yeah. There's a whole lot of hey Google.
Your boss has now entered the chat.
And so, Yavo,
Hey Google.
I see that you're wearing something around your neck. What is that?
So I'm going on this camping trip,
Whoa.
and we have
What kind of camping trip?
Say what?
What kind of camping trip?
We're going on a camping trip up to go see the DC monuments and all that kind of stuff. So that'll be fun. I'm gonna go be a tourist in my own country, and we're taking a bunch of different families and a bunch of kids up there, and we're gonna be in DC. And I can't exactly give everyone, like pepper spray or something like that. So I 3D printed all the kids a bunch of whistles. And I'm sure that giving a bunch of 5-year-olds and 9-year-olds a bunch of whistles is not a bad idea. I'm sure that won't go wrong.
Are these like rape whistles?
Yeah, before we started recording this, I got like 7 or 8 of these things because they take like 45 minutes a pop to print off. Yeah. These are effectively the same. If you were ever in the Marine Corps and you remember those little rape whistles they put on the gear list, I put whistles on the gear list too, and I 3D printed them to give them out to all the kids, put them on pink little 550 cord and whatnot. And I'm sure this won't go horribly wrong when all the kids are running around the campsite playing with whistles. I'm sure I won't lose my shit at all. It'll be great.
Can you blow it? I've never heard what a rape whistle sounds like. Can we blow it?
Oh, yeah, no, they put rape whistles on the gear lists, like every Marine Corps, everything.
Blow it. Can you blow it?
I can hear your whistle.
Oh, in the bathroom where it's all freaking I'm trying to take a shit, now it's going to be loud. All right.
That's it?
I couldn't hear.
That's it?
I'll mail one to you. They cost me like nothing to make, so it's a lot. Because you see, like they want like $7 a whistle or something like that on Amazon. I'm like, nah, I'll go make them myself.
Wait, if they're $7 on Amazon, how much it costs you to make?
Each whistle I think was like 5 cents, 6 cents.
5 cents, sell for 7. Look, we're gonna go and get a domain, Yavo's rapewhistles.com. We're gonna make a killing. I'm sure no one out there as a business is advertising SEO for rape whistles.
Yeah, for the one that wants to get away.
Gotta put them on like pink lanyards and shit too. Oh man, that's not going to trend well on Google. I'm just going to let you know that right now. Like you try to put that in the SEO database and stuff like that, and Google is just going to blacklist you super fast. FBI is going to enter the chat. They're going to be like, "Hey man, we hear you're selling rape stuff. That's probably that's no bueno." And I'm like, no, it's anti-rape stuff. I don't think the internet skittle hair people are going to be able to discern the difference.
What to you is rape stuff?
What did I say?
You just said rape stuff. So what? Expand upon stuff.
Anti-rape stuff is what I said. Instigator.
What else besides a whistle is anti-rape stuff?
Besides, being ugly, that would help. Being really ugly. Going to the gym enough to fight off another dude who thought he tried mess about. You fuck around, you might find out. It's like, well, he might have tried to put on his raping shoes, but then I cold clocked him. And now he's on the ground. There we go. Problems, rape averted.
I remember the show, the Boondocks, where they had this.
That's the slogan, rape averted.
They had this character that was the booty warrior. And there was an
Yeah.
episode that
Oh yeah,
starts
I
off like
seen
the
you,
Catch a Predator
and I like it.
with Chris
I see you,
Hansen.
Chris,
He
Chris
goes,
Hansen. I know your name
I like
Chris
to call you
Hansen,
Chris
but I call you
Hansen.
Chris Handsome.
And he hits it with the I like you.
And I
I
want
want
Well,
you.
you.
we can do this the
That's
easy
based off
way
a real dude
or the
too.
hard
Far
way.
away. Yeah.
Oh, I see you wants to do this the hard way.
I mean, it's struggle, cuddle, snuggle time somewhere. I mean, if the clock turns around, you find yourself in a struggle, cuddle, snuggle time situation. That's time to break out some jujitsu so you can, practice the art of folding clothes while people are still inside them to make that person who's got a fuck around idea find out you're gonna whoop their ass.
So, seeing that we opened up this episode, we're talking about rape and rape whistles. We're probably going to be canceled, but I wanted to show off this
Still
product.
hear people on the internet mad.
This is the product I got while I was in Amsterdam. I was in a little party gift store, and I saw this thing. And I was like, "Oh, let me get it." It's got a little trigger on it, and it goes, "Boop."
That's a good use of money.
I know. So I got one, and whoever's watching this podcast, if you want
Hi,
to,
Mom.
to Yama's mom, who's watching every one of our podcast episodes, if you can put down a great funny comment below about this episode, and you got to sneak in your comment a keyword that we'll reveal at the end of this episode. You do all of that, and private message me your address. I will mail this toilet pin to you.
I want the secret word to be turd burglar.
And of
I know
course,
we should wait to the end, but I want it to be turd burglar.
the toilet pin is sponsored by YavosRapeWhistles.com.
Oh my gosh. This is what happens when you spend too much time on the internet and you start just buying domains, all right? We need to ban Jim from just buying random domains. He's buying rapey domains.
So speaking of random domains, I bought a domain about a couple months ago. I had a friend of mine that reminded me of this copy pasta meme called Glory to the CCP. So it was about
all these different stories,
all these memes and stories about China. And of course, the comments would be Glory to the CCP. So I decided that I'd take advantage of this, and I purchased the domain glorytotheccp.com. And my intention is eventually put merchandise based upon all these memes and things, put it on t-shirts, hats, etc. So it's coming. It's coming.
So what's CCP? What is that?
Glory to the CCP.
Chinese Communist Party.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
No.
The CCP is straight up the devil. And they'll Hillary Clinton your ass real fast.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. You better be careful.
So we're going to put out
China and the FBI has now entered the chat, right?
That business model lasts. But if anyone's interested in buying that site from me, just private message me and we'll talk. But since I'm
anyone
talking
who
about
wants to get
China,
murdered.
since we're talking about China, China's usually in the news almost every day for good and bad reasons, mostly bad from, I guess, the U.S. and Western perspective. But wanted to just make that our main topic today. We can talk about Chinese politics. We could talk about Chinese cyber stuff. We could talk about Chinese attacks, Taiwan, South China Sea, Chinese food. But I'm going to turn it over to Yavo and see what Yavo wants to go with the discussion topic of China.
Well, whenever we start talking about China, anything to prevent anybody from in China from hearing the rest of this conversation, I'd immediately start talking about Tiananmen Square or Winnie the Pooh, and it'll just get straight up banned. Those would be like, no, drop, server drop. Because that's how I used to win Xbox Live matches back in, or not Xbox Live, but online gaming matches. You start talking about Tiananmen Square in the chat, and you see all this Chinese guys just getting kicked off the server, and you're like, oh man, got them. They're probably on a watch list too.
Yeah, they banned it because why? Because their leader looks like Winnie the Pooh.
They banned it. Well, they banned it because they're communists, and communists can't have any fun. It's like talking to Democrats. The second you start making jokes, they start getting all offended and shit like that. The difference is, communists will actually, come out and kill you way faster than Democrats will. Democrats, you have to piss off Hillary Clinton specifically.
He does look like Winnie the Pooh, by the way. He does look like
Winnie the Pooh. How long have you had your clearance, Java?
Yeah. Say what?
How long have you had a clearance? Since about what year?
A better question would be, when's it going to end? And it's as soon as I start shit talking Hillary Clinton.
Have you had your clearance for more than 10 years?
Sure.
Okay. So, as you well know, the Chinese had hacked the OPM database that held all these SF-86s, which are security investigation forms that we all have to fill out to get a clearance, to get vetted for a clearance. And they basically, they exfilled all that data. No matter what the government says the number is or how many records was stolen, they stole them all. No one just goes and says, give me 60,000 records. They say, give me everything. But basically, it's widely now accepted that all of our SF-86s, except for you, Dominique, you're all right. But for anyone that's had a clearance,
except for you, Dom.
Anything from about 10 years ago plus,
this kid's got that privilege.
China's got a copy of. So some people, when they hear this, they're like, well, it doesn't matter to me. Well, there's identity theft issues. They obviously, a lot of people use family members' names and the streets they lived on as passwords, so there's potential for cracking passwords with it. What are some other things? If they wanted to figure out where you work for, who you work for, they could. And since they have your address,
your mortgage,
your family, they could blackmail you. They could target you easier. So people aren't really thinking of the potential you could do with all this information. But just thought I'd put that out there, Yavo. So now that you talked some shit about China, they know where you live.
Hey, don't.
I was live.
When I was stationed in Japan, we went to Korea for a little while, and then about 3 days after we came back from Korea, we got a phone call. We said, "Hey guys, the S1 department, the department that has all the administrative paperwork, they just left like a quad con full of paperwork just sitting on the port in the middle of Korea." And we lost it. I'm like, you mean all the paperwork with like all of our socials and stuff? And they're like, we don't know. And then I went ahead and got LifeLock and did all the other government LifeLock stuff that they gave every DoD member since then. And since I did that, I've gotten all the LifeLock alerts, and I've gotten all the different identity shield alerts and stuff. Because every now and then somebody from China, and you have to say it like that, goes ahead and tries to open up a new mortgage or something in my name. It happens all the time. And at this point, like if you're anyone in the public media, if you're anyone who was in business, if you're anybody who was in the military, just assume your stuff's compromised and get insurance as fast as you can.
Wow.
And set up two-factor. Set up as much two-factor of every kind, but not SMS two-factor. SMS two-factor is compromised. I'll get out. Do not use SMS two-factor. Only use hardware two-factor authentication or software two-factor authentication on a device that you control. Do not use SMS two-factor authentication because somebody can social manipulate or social engineer themselves by calling your service provider, and they can clone your SIM and pretend to be you, and then they can have the SMS message sent to themselves. So don't do that.
Or you can just let Jesus take the wheel.
Yeah.
I do that every day. Mm-hmm. And by the way, as far as how much living on the edge goes, I'm still drinking Rip It in 2024. If you drink Rip It in 2024, you should be diagnosed with something from the VA. I'm just saying it's probably a problem. Actually, that should just be the disorder. Dude still drinks Rip It, but didn't do shit ever. 2024. Here's your whatever percentage.
Well, I'm glad I'm not the only one. Well, I'm glad I'm the only one who didn't get all my info taken. Speaking of being ethnic, China has 56 ethnic groups and still no black people.
Wait, they have 56 ethnic groups and no black people?
Nope.
Didn't Dennis Rodman go there? No, that was North Korea.
Tell me more.
That was North Korea, yeah.
Tell me more. What are we talking about? What had ethnic? What are you talking about?
China has 56 ethnic groups, and there's still no black people.
But are they?
Is it just different people? Flavors of?
No, and they have diverse cuisine. They have diverse cuisine too, but no chicken and waffles.
No chicken.
As soon as and chicken and waffles, I mean, Talladega Nights definitely proved chicken and waffles is a thing, and Waffle House, praise Waffle House. But
the Chinese
everything that China has, they don't have flavor.
Did the Chinese start karate, or is that Japanese?
That karate originated in Okinawa, Japan, and Shenru Temple.
Yes, but Kung Fu is Chinese.
Kung Fu is Chinese, yeah.
Which was first?
I would think.
Depends on who you want to believe. I mean, honestly, hey, I threw a punch at another guy. Let me write down how I threw that punch. Like, how long have people been writing shit down? That's a better question.
The one I really like is the Wing Chun, where they got like the wooden dummy and they're just like,
yeah.
I want to see that happen in the UFC. I want to see a Wing Chun do Wing Chun in the UFC. I don't think it's going to go well for him.
So who would win in a fight? Ip Man in his prime or Bruce Lee in his prime?
Ooh.
Bruce Lee, hands down.
Bruce Lee.
Bruce Lee. And Chuck Norris would be the ref.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other guy, IP Man, he does the open fist. He doesn't ball his fist. It's all slaps. And it's a woman's martial arts fighting style. It's not for men.
Not for men.
And Happy Gilmore would have to be the commentator.
Wait. Strong enough for a man, but made for a woman.
Yeah, exactly. Yep, it's an open palm technique.
There we go.
Yep.
Go with that. Yeah, and the craziest thing is, like, all these like Chinese martial arts. When I was little, I remember hearing people talking all about these karates and these kung fu's and all these taekwondos and stuff like that. And there was nowhere to really like test this stuff on a large, just a large popular, venue where you could just test this stuff out. Like MMA really wasn't a thing, at least not legally, right? And then you had all the guys just boxing at your local YMCA or doing your local high school wrestling, and they're just like, we do us, And then when it finally came time to like put everything together and just do UFC or K1 or whatever the original stuff, the Pride fights and stuff, you know what happened? Everybody who put their money where their mouth was quickly find out that all those Chinese dudes talking all the shit about they can one finger death touch people got their ass kicked up and down. And just in my own personal story on that, I used to be a part of the Military Alliance fight team in Okinawa, Japan, where despite spending a lot of time at the Shenru Karate Temple just to train with those guys and stuff, we were training at the local K1 gyms. We went ahead and invited the gym guys, and they all came down, and the Okinawans and the Japanese were super hyped about it because they were like these no-name Americans have challenged, the greatest martial artists and stuff. And they got the lights and they got the stage and they had all this stuff, like looked like a WWE event. And my buddy Jesse Fields was competing at the time. His fight name was Meathead. He showed up and he was fighting the Grandmaster's son for the Okinawan style Shenru karate, original karate Grandmaster's son. And they were gonna go at it. K1 rules, so just everything stand-up goes, right? And Jesse had never had a professional fight in Okinawa before. His background's in wrestling, and he just used to do cage matches in high school to make some extra beer money, right? Or whenever you decide to drink when you were in elementary school or whatever, right? And what happened was Jesse came out in a pink freaking cowboy hat and pink freaking star glasses, and his fight music was Barbie Girl. He came out with pink gloves, pink mouthpiece, and he was like, "Hello, Barbie, let's go party." And the Okinawans were dead silent. They didn't think it was funny at all. It's not the Americans were hyped. Then they introduced the Japanese dude, and all the Okinawans, they got super hyped over. It was like they thought they were going to destroy Jesse. And the match started, and it ended about 13 seconds later because Jesse shot in, because the Karate Kid tried throwing a kick. He shot in, took him to the ground. They had to stand him back up. This match wasn't K1 rules. This was just straight up MMA. Yeah, Jesse shot in. The match lasted 13 seconds, and Jesse just got on top, ground pound, just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That kid went to sleep so fast. And then the next day, the Shenru Temple lost like 60% of their members, and the Shenru Temple withdrew from doing any future K1 or MMA events at Gate 2 Kokusai or Gate 2 Street in Okinawa, Japan, because some random bunch of Americans fought a bunch of their fighters, including me, and we demolished the crap out of those dudes. And it's like, what's my background? I was like, well, I just kind of showed up. I figured I'd do some Muay Thai or some boxing, if it goes to the ground, let's do some jiu-jitsu, we'll figure it out. I go to the gym. I was in much better shape back then. I was like, we go to the gym, and we ran through these kids so fast. It was monster destroy. And then every single American that fought after them continued to just destroy every Japanese dude. It was just, it wasn't, and it was crazy because they were all like professional fighters and we were a bunch of no-names. We just ran through all of them. It was fantastic.
So it only works in the movies. That's what I'm hearing.
So Yavo,
yeah.
If you had to fight that version of yourself, that younger Okinawa version of yourself.
I got old pictures.
No, my question to you is if you had to fight that version of you, that younger version of you, who's more in shape, younger than you, has probably got better
150 pounds.
What would be your strategy in taking you out?
My strategy would pull a little mace out of my pocket. I'd mace him in the face. I'd kick him in the balls. I'd pull out a fucking pocket knife. I'd be like, hey man, let's fucking go. And I'd put it right in his fucking leg. Because that little bastard was fast.
If you hurt yourself in your younger self, if the time loop thing is true, you'd end up hurting yourself in your own.
I'd have to do something because that bastard would kill me. I'd rather get injured back then and then like morph the injury into myself than be dead in my 30s.
So when you were in the service, did y'all play ping pong?
Like how Jet Li freaking did the ping pong with the two freaking master ping pong dudes, nunchucks.
Did y'all do that? Did y'all do that?
No, dude, nobody can do that. I'm pretty sure Jet Li is the only, not Jet Li, freaking, man, how much is that drink? Jet Li. I'm going to stop.
So, keep on the theme of China.
Confusing Jet Li. It's terrible.
So China likes to basically steal intellectual property, steal copyrighted materials, steal plans on like building the same ships we have, our destroyers, our planes, and so forth. I want to know when they're going to start trying to build that $1 billion airplane, the big failure project for the Air Force, where each one of those planes was costing about $1 billion to build.
Wow. I want them to start equipping their dudes with body armors because Chinese troops don't get no body armor. And because they view it as cowardly to issue body armor, which in my mind is just because if you issue body armor that don't work, people are going to find out real quick. And China ain't known for making good shit.
But they're smaller targets.
No, Chinese don't issue body armor, guys. And then their field survival. Have you seen what the Chinese dudes get issued for like their land nav, their field survival? It's like a pamphlet from like the Girl Scouts from the 80s. It's like, this is how you light a fire. And it's completely worthless stuff that you would see in like 4th grade.
Wow.
It's like those Chinese, a mass unit of Chinese, I would assume would be more likely to die from exposure to the elements and just lack of training in a real operational environment. Like just as many of those dudes would die from like frostbite and, just exposure issues. Because the infrastructure sucks and the training sucks.
The book for how to start a fire probably has the first step is use this book to start your fire.
You read my mind.
So speaking of the troops versus our troops, I read an article that said, China makes a lot of ammunition. Obviously, they manufacture, mass amounts of ammunition. But according to
they don't make enough to teach their own people how to shoot.
If the DOD went against China, they would be out of ammo within 3 to 4 weeks.
Wow.
Against China.
And that's not true. It's not true, Yavo. China is currently beating America in shooting in the Olympics.
In Olympics? That's what we're going off of?
Yeah.
I don't give a shit about what's happening in the Olympics. Under perfect conditions, like resting heart rates, and that guy's been practicing time. Nah, I mean like they're military. Their shit's trash. They straight up trash. Like I would seriously see they got like a numbers game, but at the same time, their numbers like they don't. China has not had a military occupation or large scale military fucking anything since when? Like seriously, if you put Florida up against China. I'd be seriously being like, well, Florida don't got as many numbers, but man, those Florida dudes going to really put a dent in them.
I'll give you another.
Like, I would seriously put Florida up against China.
How about someone Googles how many Chinese buffets in the United States, to see if it comes up with any number, versus how many Starbucks in the United States. So let's see. Is it Team USA or Team China? Does everyone want to take a
Starbucks? No, we got to go by McDonald's if you're going by USA. Can't be Starbucks. Yeah, I'm not Googling it because I'm talking on my phone, but
I did the restaurants, but there's 24,118 Chinese restaurants in America.
Wait, isn't going by just Chinese restaurants too vague? You got to pick a chain. That way we're doing apples to apples. Like, Panda Express in American restaurants. You can't use Panda Express.
If it's got Kung Pao, it qualifies.
Okay, well then you got to go by Chinese restaurants to American burger restaurants, right?
Oh, maybe McDonald's.
Burger restaurants to Chinese buffets. You can do that. That's
only 13,499 McDonald's restaurants, so China wins.
China wins.
Going off a brand. How is this related to like military and gun shit?
I'm about to get there.
I get so off topic.
Give me a minute. Starbucks. How many Starbucks? 16,494 Starbucks. So Chinese restaurants. So this is what I'm getting at. China
is going to Starbucks
playing a long game to defeat us, and they're going to defeat us through food. And they got all these Chinese buffets where it's all you could eat at a cheap, ridiculous price. They're going to get us fat, type 2 diabetes all over the place. They're going to destroy us from within.
With TikTok, gotta do it with the TikToks, the tickety-tocks.
I honestly don't care.
You gotta have all the people have their hair dyed skill colors.
The pooper.
I don't care for Chinese food. The whole cat rumor doesn't sit well with me. Ever since that got put in my brain, I've never liked Chinese food since then.
What cat rumor?
That they eat cats. The chicken is not chicken. It's just cat meat.
Have you ever?
I mean, they kind of use whatever meat's the cheapest. Or bone. They use ground up bone.
Man, I probably did have it.
If it tastes good, if it's seasoned well.
You cannot add enough ranch dip to make chopped up bone taste better than bone.
And go try some Chinese food, Don.
Yeah. Nope.
Crack open that fortune cookie and that orange chicken wasn't chicken.
Actually, fortune cookies were made in Japan. Did you know that? They originated in Japan.
I thought they were made in America.
Well, that's not where they started.
Google it. With fortune cookies. Made in America.
Fortune cookies, they were started in Japan, not China.
All right. If you say so, I'm sure some nerd on the internet will drop a comment and be like, well, actually, fucking remember. I'm like, shut up, dork. I said America. He said a wrong answer. Let's agree that he's wrong. It's okay. Like, remember when you could just argue at bars? And if you were just more opinionated, you could be like, yeah.
What's the longest time you guys have spent in a Chinese restaurant? And how many plates of food were you able to put away at an all-you-can-eat buffet?
Well, they catch you with that diarrhea so fast, it's kind of hard to stay longer than about an hour or so. I mean, that's their plans, to give you the run so you'll leave.
I think I've done 2 hours. In fact, remember that spot in Germany outside of Stuttgart?
Okay. The place where they put all the mirrors on the wall?
Yeah.
So it makes you feel bad about eating longer?
What was it called? Like China City or China Palace or something like that?
I mean, they're all, China 1, China City, China to end up on the phone book first on the list, right?
All you can eat, and I think I spent about 2 hours there once, and I must have did at least eight plates of food.
Good grief!
So
no, not a fan.
There's a restaurant that gives you a discount depending on your waist size. I think more restaurants should do that. All you can eat buffet, but if you're like gym size, they charge you full price. But if you're like my 5-year-old son size, they're like, here's an 80% discount, 90% discount. Yeah, and it's like, all right, so if you're a twig. But the crazy thing about that is, like, I lived in Japan for like 5 years, man. Some of these little Japanese girls, they do reality shows where a cute little Japanese girl will convince a bunch of dudes to like let her sit down at their buffet or their wait table, whatever, and she'll just start ordering food, and she'll just see how long before they make her leave. And that's a whole reality show. Some of those little like 60-pound women, like I can't even imagine, they're more like 60 to 80 pounds at the most. They are putting away like 14 freaking stacks of spicy chicken wings and stuff like that.
The hot dog eating champion, he was an Asian dude that would just put away the Polish people.
I don't know how he's doing it. I don't know how they're doing it. They got a magic portal, something like that.
Speaking of the size of people, so there's a place in Las Vegas, if you've ever been to Vegas here in the past few years on Vermont Street, called the Heart Attack Grill. You guys heard of it? There's like a cattle scale, like a big metal platform with a big digital scale there. And if you weigh over, I think it's 350 pounds, you eat for free. And at one time I was about 367 pounds and I got to eat for free. It was like as many burgers as I wanted, but I had to eat them. Or if you don't finish your food, they have these waitresses dressed in nurses, like skimpy nurses outfits, and they'll come around and they'll paddle you. To finish your food.
That sounds like a good time.
That generates so much business. That's literally like capitalism. Like put your pride on the line for a cheeseburger.
for cheeseburgers and their shakes. I think if I remember right on their menu, and someone could comment below if they think I'm wrong to correct me, but their milkshakes contain, I believe, a whole stick of butter. I think was the claim of fame.
Man, at some point you just got to put your dignity up there and be like, nah, I ain't doing that.
They cook the burger meat in pure lard.
What the hell?
And so they've had guys that have eaten there multiple times, and I think the first guy that ate there the most ended up having a heart attack in the restaurant. It made the news that the guy that went to Heart Attack Grill had a heart attack. So yeah.
And everyone was really surprised and shocked, and all the Skittle hair people on the internet said that the restaurant was immoral. And we're all like, what the fuck do you think was going to happen? If you jump off a cliff, don't be surprised when you get an immediate sudden stop and you end up in front of Jesus, and even he's disappointed at you. He's like, what were you doing, man?
I was trying to let you take the wheel, Jesus.
I'm sure Jesus just shaking his head and being like, nah, man, I sent you. How many advertisements did Jesus send you about Slim Fast?
So there's a lot of videos on the internet of like these Shaolin monks doing all these acrobatic stuffs, and a lot of people claim it's edited, heavily edited, or it's reversed footage. What do you guys think? Do you think the Shaolin monk stuff is real, fake, what?
No, as far as their acrobatics and what they can do with like that stuff, sure, why not? I mean, I've seen it done at like Cirque du Soleil and stuff.
And they have Jackie Chan and Sammo Hung. Those guys,
sure, why not?
At ballet school, I believe, National Ballet School, and they're acrobatic.
Yeah, and just because somebody can do, a triple backflip and hang on their fingers or something like that, does not mean that they can go into freaking MMA or UFC and win at anything. It just means that they look real pretty as they get their ass kicked.
Agreed. But they have honor. They get their ass kicked with honor.
I don't think I have ever met a Chinese martial artist from China that I was like, you're a stand-up dude. Like, they're all just like, every dude that I've personally interacted with, just not been great dudes. Now, maybe there's somebody out there on the internet watching this and he goes, I'm a great dude. I'm a Chinese martial artist. I'm straight from China. I'm going to prove Yabo wrong. And I'm going to go hang out and drink a beer with Yabo. And if that dude exists, great, come on out.
Message me and you're in the States, I will fly you out to Yabo's house so that you could have a one-on-one combat in his backyard. No, but you both got to fight.
I'm too old and fat to fight anybody these days.
You got to both be in the Porta-John.
But as far as being a good dude, it's never happened. Every dude that I've ever trained with, straight up, they just been not great dudes. Maybe that's anecdotal evidence, but it's been anecdotal evidence of every dude I've ever interacted with. And the common denominator would say, maybe it's me. But here's the crazy thing. Everybody on my fight teams, everybody they all kind of looked at these dudes and be like, man, those guys are assholes. Yeah, those dudes just tend to be assholes. Go figure.
So Yavo, are you saying that you would not lose to a Chinese man in a fight? Or man or woman? We want to keep it open. We're not going to restrict.
You like to insinuate a lot.
If it was a man, a woman, or he, she, or they, Chinese person that wanted to fight you in the Porta-John, would you
in the Porta-John?
Huh?
No, not fighting nobody in the Porta-John. No.
Okay, in front.
Like I said before, I'm too old and fat to be fighting anybody for anything.
The Porta-John.
I mean, if they'll just take the Porta-John, that'd be great. You want to show up my house, just steal the Porta-John, go for it, man.
You gotta fight for the honor.
My wife was already upset. She's like, did the fucking Porta-John arrive from Kuwait at your front door? I'm like, I don't know. You know, I was like, I was here. Jim started running his mouth. I was like, whatever, man. And before you know it, a Porta-John showed up. And I was like, all right, this is happening.
So, would you ever go on a vacation or trip to China? Why or why not, guys?
No.
Wait. They got the Great Wall of China. They got temples. They got all kinds of beautiful scenery. They got like these limestone cliffs and like those walkways that look like death-defying walkways and all kinds of crazy stuff.
Yeah,
I've been to China already. I've been there enough. I never want to go back. I have nothing nice to say about China because every time I go to China, everyone's an asshole.
I'll get a haircut so they can just marvel at it, because I've seen videos where they're like, they pass it around and some of them keep it.
That's weird.
Get a haircut.
Yep, I'll go up there and get a haircut. Yep.
And then you could change up their demographics. That'd be 57 with one.
Oh, that would be awesome. That would be
Good luck.
You gotta go when they're doing their recount, their what do they call it? Their census.
Yeah.
And
come
maybe
back with no clearance. My clearance will be gone as soon as I got back.
And something even crazier is just maybe I'll be forced to go through like the Chinese airport or something like that, you know, in order to get to Japan or Korea or Thailand or one of those other countries. And then while I'm in China, there'll be one person that will be moderately pleasant, and I'll have to completely rethink my entire opinion about everything I know about interacting with those folks. Because right now, it just ain't positive. If one of them was nice, I'd be like, oh man, thank you. Like, I can completely rethink everything. Just they're all just mean.
There's 1.4 billion people in China, and you're saying that there's not one nice person in 1.4.
If I could find one, I could rechange my entire opinion.
If you're a nice person in China
and just have one good interaction,
this podcast, message me
so I can introduce
you, and we'll love to have you as a guest on the podcast. So if you're Chinese and you're in China and you can connect and watch this on YouTube, we want you to be a guest on here and make friends.
Come on down. I'll invite you on here. We'll have a great old time. We'll have a little off-camera talk where we get to be buddies and stuff like that, and we'll put it on camera. It'll be great.
Do a foreign exchange student program, perhaps. Let them come live with you for a while.
One was nice to me in Germany. He took a selfie with me. Remember that, Yavo? He thought I was Kevin Durant.
That dude was speaking Tagalog, bro.
Remember that?
Wait,
that dude was Filipino.
How tall is Kevin Durant? Like 6'10"?
Yeah. No, he was not Tagalog. I've been to the Philippines a lot. He was Chinese. He was like,
that dude was speaking Tagalog. He wasn't Chinese.
No, he was not.
And he did the pigeon English. That dude was nice. That dude was not Chinese.
Yes, he was. He said,
was not Chinese.
Kevin Durant. Like he
pigeon English.
Yeah, that's Chinese.
Did you just say yes, I'm Kevin Durant?
He said no, and he wanted the picture anyway. And when I walked away, people came up to me and they were like, "Are you somebody famous or something?" And I was like, "He thinks I'm Kevin Durant." And he was like, "You're like a foot too short to be Kevin Durant." I was like, "I know, but I took the picture anyway." He was definitely Chinese. He was nice.
Because I lived in Japan for like 5 years, and I had Japanese exchange students living in my house in America for multiple years. And I'll tell you, freaking a lot of words in English, really hard for like an Asian dialect person to speak. Motorcycle is a really hard word. It comes out as motorcycle or something like that. Like motorcycle is really hard to say. At the same time, when I try speaking Japanese, there's all kinds of words that I can't pronounce right. It's because Japanese is like a flat tongue language, right? and Americans, like, we like touch our tongues to our roof of our mouths or whatever. We just have a different dialect. So I can't say a bunch of their stuff right. And then every time I have a new exchange student living at the house, I'm like, bro, say motorcycle. And they're like,
I saw a
no.
clip on TikTok where two guys were doing like a podcast interview, and of course saw it on TikTok. But these two guys were talking about how the creator and the owner of Lululemon purposely named it Lululemon because he hates the Chinese and they can't say Lululemon.
It's kind of a dick thing to do, straight up. Like, it's just kind of a dick thing to do, just in general.
It's just like yavosrapewhistles.com. I'm pretty sure Chinese people can't say that.
Don't do that. And by the way, two wrongs don't make a right, you know? Just because everyone's an asshole to me doesn't mean I got to be an asshole back to them. If some dude shows up and is not an asshole, I'll be like, oh, look, you're not an asshole. Look at that. And we have,
you give them a
you judge
whistle.
people on an individual basis. But man, some of those dudes are mean.
So, Yavo, we need to do the second shameful plug. I'm going to turn it over to you.
What?
Shameful plug time.
I don't have anything this week.
You know?
I got one. one. So
Dominique has one.
Yeah, I'm starting a new podcast. We're kicking it off this weekend, and it's called the Pizza Podcast because I made a post on this group about pizza in Bloomington where I live, and it generated like over 100 comments on all these pizzas that everybody likes. So somebody reached out to me and they're like, hey man, we should do a podcast on pizza in the area. And I shout out to Jim because I was like, oh, he's like the mediator of the podcast I do. So I kind of know how to do this. And he was like, all right, cool. So we're looking out for that, the Pizza Podcast.
So Pizza Podcast coming up soon from Dominique. And so I've noticed Dominique posts pretty regularly on social media. If you want to just find them on socials, what is the best social to connect to you on, Dominique? Is it Facebook?
Right now it's just Facebook. Yeah. Okay. Dominique Solomon. Yep.
Dominique Solomon, find the man. I'll put his Facebook name in the description below to make it easier for you for the search. Just quickly connect to him, follow him. That was our shameful plug. So being the astute geopolitical analyst you are, Yavo, what do you think the U.S. needs to do about China in the next 10 years?
You got to throw the astute political nonsense before that statement, huh? What was the question again? I zoned out after the pandering.
As an astute geopolitical analyst,
fuck Christ.
What should the U.S. do about the threat of China in the next 10 years, both economically and from a defense, military, and an intelligence perspective?
All right.
Why can't we just overthrow them and just
No.
And lose 45,000 Chinese restaurants overnight? Come on, man.
I would
disrupt the economy and send ripples throughout the states. How else are we going to
America just needs to become as self-sufficient as it possibly can. America just should become as self-sufficient as it possibly can, so that if/when there's a conflict between the two nations,
wait. What's true American food? Let me take a step. Because when people say hamburgers, that technically came from Germany. The hamburger from Germany. French fries, France.
And then we added flavor.
Pizza, Italy. Now, don't get me wrong. Yeah. I'll wholeheartedly agree that we took that food and made it level 99. Like, it was pretty mediocre where it came from, like level 20. We took it and elevated the taste to level 99.
Yeah, because pizza in Rome sucks.
That's why America rocks. But if we just take over China, what if the people in America shut down all 45,000 Chinese restaurants? I think that would cause a big devastating effect on many economies.
Yeah.
Well, so I'm not
and the cat population would take over America.
That's ridiculous. I like it though.
The feline population.
I'm over here trying to get like a real answer and shit like that. My phone's at 2% power.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Yavo.
I ain't gonna get real. You know what? How about everybody who's worried about something, worry about getting their finances in order first, making their home as self-sufficient as they possibly can, and taking care of their family and friends around them. That's all they need to do.
And try to win this poop pen.
What's the code at the end? What's the code? What's the code
You
word?
ain't got shit unless you got this.
Is that the phrase? The pin?
All right, closing words. Dominic, you go first. Closing comments on
Oh,
China.
man. I wish I knew their ancient Chinese secrets, but I'll never know.
You'll never know.
I'm going to go update my resume because I'm getting fired from everything and canceled on the internet because I pissed off all the skittle-haired people with everything I say because they take seriously some dude who's just talking some shit in his bathroom.
Especially one wearing a sombrero. My final comment is YavosRateWhistles.com. That's all I need to say.
Oh my God, no. My phone's at 1% battery. I'm going to be happy when it dies.
YavosRateWhistles.com.
That has been the JK Podcast.
No.
Adios.
Why do you do these things?